Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining. Good to see everybody here. Getting things rolling this morning. I made a couple of mistakes in the pre-roll, but that's why we have a pre-roll, to make mistakes there before the show actually starts. So, good to see everybody in the chat. I see a bunch of people joining, and the map wasn't working at the beginning because the website broke and I had to restart it. So that's why the countdown music stopped. No big deal. We got through it. Yes, you also heard a cough because I forgot my mic was hot during that whole time because I changed a bunch of things around. Surprise. Because I was recording in here Thursday, sometime I was recording in here, and I had a bunch of stuff different in the setup to do the recording compared to how I normally do the live streams. Oh, is the compressor too intense right now? It could be that my gain on the mic channel is way too low. That's probably what's happening. And then the compressor is working overdrive. Yeah, so okay, that's what's happening. Let me adjust this really quick. So this is the MR18 I'm using, and I do see that gain is way too low. Because again, I wanted to undo a bunch of the stuff I normally have in the setup for the stream, but for recording, I don't always want it to be that processed ahead of time. I think if I just boost this, let's give that a shot. Oh, that might be too much. Should probably do this with headphones on. Yeah, try that. That was what I was at before. 50 sounds better. Okay, we'll give this a shot for a little bit. Let me know what you think. And yes. What mic am I using? Good question. So this is the, I can actually show it to you because I happen to have a little camera rigged up for something we're going to look at in a little bit. This is, here it is. So it is this little Samson C02, and it is right above where I'm sitting. Maybe it's a little bit farther away than it normally is. Maybe that's why it's quiet. But that's the Samson C02, and that is what I normally use here at this desk, table, whatever you want to call it. Okay, cool. Better. Now it's perfect. Much better. Cool. I think I had hit something wrong on this very complicated interface when I was adjusting things, and then didn't remember what the original setting was set to bring it back. So, oh yeah, two of them for stereo. So this is what I was doing on Friday, or God, I don't even remember what day it was. Saturday, Friday? I think it was Friday, Thursday, one of the days last week. I was filming with Lily for the channel about the house project, and I had we were both sitting, side by side here, and that means that my normal mic position was wrong because it was pointing directly between us. So if we're both over here, then the mic was in the middle. So I put two of them up there pointing away from each other so that we had one each. Now Roland says the audio sounded better before you made the change. Tons of reverb. Is that just the room reverb? It could just be the room bouncing around. I don't hear reverb. I just hear it pretty loud. Please check streaming quality. Streaming quality looks good on my end. YouTube sometimes on the viewer end just like drops you down to a lower resolution. So check the player, because sometimes it just decides to show you it in 360p. Roland says, yes, it's the room. It also might be that the headphones are leaking. Sounds fine. Okay, cool. I'm going to leave it like this. We're done messing with the audio. It sounds okay. Paul says, recently switched to the Earthworks Icon Pro and loving it. Your audio sounds fine. Cool, thanks. Thanks for joining. Okay, so what's on the schedule for today? Now that we've gotten through the technical issues, but yes, this is what happens when I like reconfigure the space for a different setup. I was recording for the other channel where there's two of us, and we each have a microphone that way. That way, it's not just the one microphone between us. And I also wanted to record in separate channels so that I can edit the volume later, because Lily tends to talk a lot louder than I do. So I didn't want to rely on getting the volume right while we were recording. So because we each had a mic with our own audio stronger on that mic, I can mix the levels separately later in a way that I couldn't if it was just one mic. Obviously, they're not isolated completely because we're sitting very close to each other, but it's something, and it means I can do a little bit more later. So I had routed the two microphones into the ATEM for recording on the left and the right channel. So they're both going into the MR18 still, and then I in the ATEM software, this is the trick here. So here's the ATEM software. You know how normally when you have a mic, the line input or the 1/8 inch input, it is a stereo input. So if it sends a left and right, you can give it a stereo signal. But I had actually used the split feature to split the audio into separate channels here. And then I get the recording, I make sure I have the separate channels there on the recording. So that is what I was doing there. For the Air 18, do you have to use any hum limiters when connected to the computers for sound? This is a good question. I don't hear, because I guess everything is insulated enough. So it definitely depends on the electrical system you're connected to. Very possible that you may end up with ground loops and causing the hum. So thankfully, I don't have any here, so I don't need to do anything special with it. That is not always the case. 6 Minute Mini says that it's a tad ambient because of the gain. You could drop another 5. I think I might. I'm hearing it out of the headphones, even though they're like closed. So I think that is just a little bit much. It's also a little bit too far into the red for me on the web presenter view that I'm seeing there. So I'm just going to change this to, like, let's say 46, drop a little bit. And now as let me show you what I'm looking at. So this is the screen I'm looking at, and I get the tunnel vision, but I'm always looking at the web presenter's output, because that way I make sure that it's on air, for example, and I look at the streaming bitrate down there, and that way I can make sure that it's actually streaming properly, we didn't get stuck. And then the nice big audio meter on the right is useful, and that is telling me that I'm peaking into the red, which is okay, and I'm not hitting the top of the red, and I'm mostly in the yellow, which is a good sign. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now, just doing it by eyeball, and I'm not hearing it out of my headphones anymore, so that's good. Oh, good question. Would I buy that mic again and the Air 18? I think so. I do think the other Behringer mixer, the 32, the other rack mount one, may have been a better option for my studio here. I'm not totally sure, because it has a couple of differences in terms of how the auxes work and stuff. But I may have been better off with that one now, having tried the 18. But I'm still pretty happy with the 18, even though it's definitely a little bit complicated to use. As far as this mic goes, I didn't buy it for the studio. I've actually had it for a long time, and I just moved it in here. And I'm pretty happy with it. I like the way it sounds. So, yeah, it's the other one that I like a lot is the Audio Technica. What is it? It's one Photo Joseph uses. I actually have had that one for ages too. It's oh man, now I'm forgetting the name of it. It's I'm not going to be able to remember it off the top of my head. Anyway, it's a similar style. You put it over your shot, and I like that style better than the ones that are up in your face. I know you get really good sound from the ones that sit right here up in your face. I just don't like the way it looks on the video. So that's just my own opinion. But yeah. The Scott says hello from Houston. Audio sounds great and streaming is also very good. Thank you for joining. How am I feeling? I am feeling fine. I am back to normal recovered. That was a little adventure, but honestly, it just felt like a bad cold, really, and I went through all the cycles of it pretty quick in terms of cough, fever, that kind of stuff. But I'm better now. I think my voice is maybe not quite recovered yet, but yeah. Roland says, I recommend the MKH50 if your budget stretches to it. If not, the AT4053B is a reasonable alternative. If you really need to save money, the Samsung C02 is decent. Yeah, I was happy with the price for the Samsung C02, and it comes in a set of 2 because it's made for like stereo miking situations. AT4053B, that might be the other one that I have. That might be it. That's actually one that I have at home that we use for Lily's stream. So that's because there's only one mic there, whereas here I have 2, so I want them to match. Graham says, I got the XR18 and regret it. Not as good USB connectivity as the larger ones. Oh, that's interesting. What's different about the USB? Because it seems like it does everything I want the USB to do. Like I'm able to route multiple channels in and out of the computer, and I've got the computer wired up into it as well. So, you know, if I make computer sounds, let's see. Yeah, you can hear that on the stream, right? Yeah, that's my computer routed into the XR18 over USB, which seems fine. Paul says, rocking your PK1 Extreme stand with a hard drive add-on for the Extreme Mini ISO. Also loving it. Makes the desk a lot cleaner. Great work. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you are enjoying it. It's been a lot of fun to put these together. COVID Mini or COVID Extreme? I would definitely say COVID Mini. Definitely. Thanks to being fully vaccinated and all that good stuff. So, oh, okay. This is a great question. Do you know why the ATEM prices seem to be dropping? I've just purchased an ATEM Extreme ISO for $660, which is $300 lower than last week. I know. I've been seeing this pop up in some of the European sellers, and not really sure why. There's we've been speculating about this in John's Discord about why the prices might be dropping. Not a lot of consensus on the reason. It seems like it's not something coming from Blackmagic in terms of they're not discounting the prices on their website. They're not making any sort of official announcements. And it seems to be just that some of the dealers are just trying to move their stock out fast, maybe because they haven't been selling enough of them lately. And maybe they're planning on getting a new order of whatever Blackmagic's new stuff is that they're going to probably announce this month at NAB. We don't know anything. But yeah. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Do you have the iPad to control the X16? I do. I do have the iPad app installed, although lately I have been using the desktop app more, probably just because it's easier to just have it always on the computer here. So I think I actually like the iPad app a little bit more, but now I've been using this more lately, so I'm probably more used to the desktop app at this point. It's because they're soon releasing the ATEM Nano. I want them to make the ATEM Nano. Let me go find the picture I made of that, because I still want that. But no, I don't know. We'll find out soon enough. I am going to NAB, and I am very excited about visiting all the booths there from all the different brands I've been working with over the last 2 years not being able to meet anybody in person. Okay, here is my ATEM Nano mock-up. This was from one of the wishlist videos I did. I still think this is a good idea. Tiny little device, 2 inputs, with the picture-in-picture and ideally the super source, so you can scale both of them independently. You know, be able to load in images just like a regular ATEM. Do recording, maybe even streaming from it. That way you can push it to a streaming bridge. I still think it'd be really cool having just 2 inputs on a tiny little ATEM. But speaking of tiny little video switchers, this is something that is real, and this is if you're signed up for YOLO Live's email list, you will have already gotten an email about this. So it is official that it is happening, and they already did send me one. This is a tiny YoloBox. So it is actually a YoloBox Mini, and if you look at the ports, it's actually just one HDMI in and one HDMI out. That's upside down. Let's see. Let's flip it around so you can read the labels. So one HDMI in, one HDMI out. Ethernet audio is normal. There is also a USB for webcams, so you can do one camera. It is not a switcher, so it's just the encoder part. So you only can connect one input to it, either HDMI or USB, and then just stream that. You can still mix graphics and everything over it too, though, which is pretty cool. And it is tiny. It is very, very small. It's also covered in fingerprints. Let's see, what can I give you for scale here? Here's my iPad. It's a mini iPad too, so I don't know if you know how big that is, but it's like significantly smaller than the mini iPad. And it's here's my iPhone XS, not the huge one, and it's a little bit larger than that iPhone. So it's small, which is pretty nice. I'm excited about this. I think it's going to have some cool uses. So I'll be doing more tests with this. Probably bring it to NAB with me, and yeah, fun stuff. Fun stuff. What is the price of the new YoloBox? I don't know yet because it's not actually on their website. It's only been announced in their email list so far. So if you go to their website, it still is showing just the 2. But soon this will show YoloBox Mini because they did blast it out to their whole email list in their like, we're going to NAB email. So yeah, I don't know the price yet. So hopefully we'll find out. We'll find out soon. When are they going to announce the ATEM with NDI built in? I still think they're never going to do that. I honestly think they're never going to put NDI in the ATEM for many reasons, including cost to them, as well as the fact that it would kind of be supporting their competitor. Yeah. Are you streaming from NAB? Yes, definitely. So I'm going to be there on, I think I get there Saturday afternoon. So I'll already be there on Sunday during this time. I'll be there, and the show floor opens on Sunday as well. So we'll definitely be doing a stream at my normal time at this time from NAB. I don't yet know if that's going to be in my hotel room or on the show floor, because if the show floor opens at 10, I can't really like rush in there live or something. Although maybe I could. That could be fun. I don't know. I might do that from the hotel room. But I will probably very, very likely also do more streams throughout the week. So I'll be there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Also visiting booths. I'm going to be doing a lot of filming, hopefully doing some interviews with people. I already have appointments lined up with a few of the brands, which is great. So I'll be doing, at the very least, some sort of vloggy-like thing about the trip later, and then hopefully also doing at least one more stream while I'm there. Maybe, since Photo Joseph is going to be there, maybe we can do a stream together too. What is the use case for the YOLO Mini? Is it just a remote contribution for YOLO stream? You can use it for that, but it is also just if you only are using one camera to stream anyway, then this is all you need. And I think what they saw was a lot of people were using the YoloBox Pro and then connecting only one camera into it. And for a lot of events, that's fine. Like you can load up a title graphic on it, you know, start the scene, start the stream with a title graphic, fade in the camera, and then they just only ever have one camera set up. And for a lot of events, that's totally fine. And I think they saw an opportunity there to make the mini version both so that it's smaller as well as cheaper, so that people don't have to spend the $1,300 on the Pro if they're only ever going to connect one camera to it. So I think that's the idea. And so yeah, I'm really curious what the price will be on this, because it's, you know, obviously going to be smaller, going to be cheaper than the Pro. So I'm curious how cheap they can go with it. I will say I do also wish that they would upgrade the original YoloBox to have this processor. This does have the same processor as the Pro, so it has the ability eventually, you know, to do all the other features they're adding to the Pro, like the browser overlay source is coming soon to the Pro. I'm hoping that means that because it has the same processor here, that this one can also do it. But this, I would love them to upgrade the original YoloBox to this processor, because I also think there's plenty of uses for just two cameras and also a smaller device than the Pro. I do like the YoloBox Pro, but it is larger than I would like it to be. I would much rather carry the original. The original form factor was my favorite. The original YoloBox form factor was fantastic, and I would love that to get the better processor. So that's my next wish list for them. But the other thing you can do with it, because you can load in a remote, so you can connect two of them. I'm not explaining this well. I think I've mentioned it in one other video or something, but you can connect to YoloBoxes because it goes and uses their cloud service. So if you're streaming using their cloud service, you can actually go and configure this to not stream to any destinations from this. But if you just hit go live, it'll be streaming to their cloud, and they're just not pushing anywhere else. And then if you're signed into the same YoloBox account on your YoloBox Pro, you can bring it in as a remote stream. So you could actually use this as a remote contribution for just, you know, one camera somewhere. You can give it to somebody and tell them just press the big go live button, and then pull up their stream on your main YoloBox. And that is also a pretty cool workflow that I'm interested to try out more. Battery time on the Mini YOLO, I don't know yet. Like I said, I'm going to bring it with me to NAB, so I'll get more chances to test it there. It is definitely a smaller device than the Pro, so I'm guessing it may have less battery life. We will find out, though. We'll have internal SIM and Speedify. It does have a SIM slot, so it has SIM and SD card just like the Pro. The only difference in terms of inputs and outputs is it is missing two of the HDMI ins, but other than that, it's got the same connections as the Pro. Can it be used as an external preview of camera and encoding? Yeah, so if you do attach it to a camera, then, you know, it'll be a little monitor too. I will say it's not the best, and if you're using it just as a monitor, I would just get a regular monitor, but it is nice that it can also do the encoding. So yeah. Can it just record instead of streaming? It can, but again, I think that you are not using it to the best of its capabilities if you're using it only as a recorder. Especially because it doesn't do switching. It's just a one camera device. So if you're looking for recording one camera on a camera and a monitor, you might be better off with one like the Blackmagic Video Assist, which can do ProRes recording, for example, and has more features on the monitor like scopes and stuff like that. So, but it just like the YoloBox Pro, you can put it into what they call monitor mode, not connected to the internet, and just record. So. Roland says you could strap your ZV-10 to your head and do a first-person live stream. Maybe I will do a live stream, just a loop around the show floor or something. I only have the Expo pass, so I don't have a pass to any of the talks or anything. So all I'm going to be doing there is just wander around the show floor talking to people. So, yep. Michael says if you had your time over, no products, would you use your ATEM or YoloBox for a small studio? I do think that the ATEM makes more sense for a studio the way that I have it set up here, where, you know, I am comfortable using and configuring an ATEM and dealing with all of the complexity that that involves. And I also, again, make very, very heavy use of the Stream Deck in the stream. So, you know, this is what I'm using to run the show. I can switch cameras. I can show this little thing on the bottom with that button. You know, this automates all of my show, including talking to the ATEM. And you don't get that control with the YoloBox, at least yet. I'm trying to get them to add that feature so that you can integrate it with Companion. And so I do think for my studio in particular, I would stick to the ATEM line of things just because it makes more sense. But that's obviously not the case for everybody, because if you don't want to have that level of control and stuff of your, and also have to deal with how complex it ends up getting, then the YoloBox can make a lot of sense in a studio. But yeah, I like the YoloBox because it is easier for me to carry that out and about compared to everything I would need to take with me for an ATEM rig. This is back about the dual mic situation. Is that a good case for the Rode Go 2? You can have ISO recording, and with the right cable, it would be 2 channels into the X16. Yeah, that's another option for sure. I don't remember why I didn't use the Rode Wireless Go this time for the video. We actually used it for the first one. I think I just wanted to try it with the overhead microphones. Paul, thank you for the super chat. I just saw this on my screen. Thank you very much. 3 questions. Okay, let's see if I can read these before they disappear from the screen. Are you streaming straight to YouTube or a service like Restream? Do you have any issues with the iPad disconnecting at times from the Mini? It goes black on screen at times. What chat app are you using? Great questions. Okay, I can still see it here. I am streaming straight to YouTube. So this is the web presenter is streaming directly to YouTube. So let me show you that. That's what I'm looking at. That's the web presenter monitor. It is pushing directly to YouTube. I'm not pushing into a Restream service for this stream. I don't broadcast my streams to multiple places, so not a lot of reason to use a Restream service. I mentioned in the stream I did from Vienna 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and that was the second one I did there was the one that actually worked well. The first one did not. That was streaming from the YoloBox to YouTube, and the problem was my SIM card was not fast enough. I just didn't have enough data. But even when I did have enough data, I found that streaming to YouTube was fine. But what I actually wanted to do was stream from Vienna into this studio so that I can run the show like normal. And that was not working. Even with a fast SIM card, it wasn't working sending that into the studio. I ended up having to essentially create my own Restream service where I pushed up to a server in Amazon and then that streamed to my studio. And then it worked great. It was totally fine. So, okay, that's number 1. 2, do you have any issues with the iPad disconnecting at times from the Mini? I'm assuming you're meaning the Mix Effect app on the iPad. No, but what's probably happening is there is a limit. There's 2 reasons this can happen. There's a limit on the number of devices that an ATEM can have connected to it. So that is 5. So if you have a computer and Companion and Mix Effect on an iPad and like a tally light or something, like you can eat up the connections pretty quickly. If you upload an image with Photoshop, for example, that counts as a connection while that's running. If you have more than 5, they kind of start fighting, and because they all want to reconnect, but it'll kick something off. So that is one reason why you may see it drop. And then it may try to reconnect and then kick something else off. So that's 1. 2, the network connection between the ATEM and whatever device you're using to talk to it has to be very, very, very good. So wired connection is the best. For like no question, a wired connection is the best. But I do often use it with a wireless connection, like my iPad. I've connected Mix Effect to it on the iPad, and if there are problems with the Wi-Fi, like there's a lot of interference with the Wi-Fi or whatever, that can also cause it. So basically like the two devices just sort of ping each other all the time. And if it doesn't get a response in time, it'll be like, oh, you've lost the connection. And that can happen sometimes on a wireless or flaky connection. So that is probably what's happening if you don't have 5 devices connected. And then number 3, what chat app are you using? It is my own system I've built for this. Lets me do things like, if you start your question with the letter Q, it filters it into a different column here so I can see the questions and still keep an eye on what's happening running in the chat. And super chats get the nice little confetti overlays as well. But I did create a Chrome extension that has the same look as the chats on the screen when I click the chats. And that is something you can use. And that is linked below. The extension should be linked directly in this description. And there's also a video I did a while ago about how to use it. So I haven't talked about that in a while, I guess. But that is how I do it. And thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Cool. Okay. I'm just going through the questions here because I also want to talk about this. But we're going to take a look at the questions. Keith says, had the same issue, needed to reboot my Switch. Could be. Could be. Michael says, what's your main camera model and lens? Would you buy it again? And if not, which one? This is something I have complicated feelings about. This camera is right now, this is the Lumix GH5S, which I've had for many, many years. And I think I got it in 2017 or 2018, I want to say. And it was, and I wasn't using it in the studio for a while. At the desk, which I'm not sitting at right now because I'm kind of in the process of redoing the space. That camera, and actually also this camera, is the Lumix G7, which I like mostly because they're so cheap. And but this camera, the main one, is the GH5S. For a while, I was using the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. I think it gives me just a much softer picture, and I was kind of getting annoyed with that, and that's why I swapped over to the GH5S. Would I buy the GH5S to use as a primary streaming camera? No, I would not. It doesn't really make sense. It is not made for what I'm using it for here. It is made for filming videos with, not using as just like a video input into a switcher. It works, but I wouldn't buy it for that. What I really would like to get, which I am going to have to significantly increase the amount that this channel makes in order to afford, is I would love to do what Photo Joseph did and get the Lumix box cameras, the BGH1, for all the cameras. They are made for exactly that. They have SDI out. They have a network connection. You can control them from a computer. You can pull up a little preview on the computer. You can, SDI out so that I don't have to deal with as many converters. They are studio streaming cameras. That's what I would probably buy if I was buying new cameras for this. But they're like $2,000 each, which is a great price for what they are. But I also would want more than one. And that starts to add up very fast. So at the very least, I would want to get 2. This one and this one would turn into the box cameras. And then I also have this overhead camera so I can show you stuff. It would probably make sense to have that camera match as well. And then that's 3. And then the other one that I usually have is some sort of side angle so that I can, again, show you a close-up of stuff on the side. And then you can see the multi-view of my screen also. So that's 4, which is probably how many I would need. And then the rest, like, I have other, if I ever go back to that desk and use that again, I would probably want that one, but maybe I would just keep that as the G7 because it does work fine for that case. Anyway, if I'm going to go and get the box cameras, I'm going to get at least 3, which is $6,000. So that's a lot. And that's more than I just like have ready to throw at this stuff. So we'll see. Maybe that's my goal for the year, is to be able to do that in December by the end of the year. But I really like the way that he's got his studio set up. He does have a video about his whole new 6 BGH1 setup. Let me see if I can find the video to drop it in the description here. It was not that long ago, I thought. Oh yeah, here we go. 5 BGH1. I forgot that my computer audio is routed in here, so you can hear the video as I play it. 5 BGH1s, he says in this video. So go take a look at this. This is my inspiration for that rig. That is in the chat now, and I'll put it in the video description later after the show. So that's my camera story. I'm not really interested in the Blackmagic Studio cameras. They have a screen on the back, which I wouldn't really ever use, so it seems silly. All the controls on the back I would never use. So I think that's why I'm more interested in the Lumix box cameras. Good question, though. Could you talk about how you use the Blackmagic router in your studio? I actually did do a full overview of how this works in my studio. Let me grab that link because that does a better job than I can do live of describing how it works. But I will give you a quick summary of how I use it. Where is it? Gosh, I'm just looking through my videos and I don't even see it. It's one of these in here. The video gear. Ask me anything. Was it during stream week? Oh my gosh. I did a whole where is it? Studio tour. Ah, there it is. Okay. Oh, it was a long time ago. It was longer ago than I thought. It was September. Okay. Anyway, this is the video where I talk about it. So, I don't blame you for not finding it because that took me a long time to find it. So I'll drop that link in there as well. And but yeah, the short version is, so you can see that I have, my multi-view on this monitor. I have that monitor over there. I have the teleprompter monitor. So I've got 3, things that I'm looking at here, but those monitors are all routed into the switch. So I can make them do whatever I want on the fly. And I've got it all connected into Companion too. So I can go, for example, what can I do without messing myself up too much? I can change, all of the inputs on the ATEM are routed into the matrix. So I can say, oh, now I want input 4 instead of the Apple TV. I want it to be my camera at the desk, and then it'll switch, right? So I can route from the Stream Deck. I can route different inputs into the ATEM. I can also turn any of the monitors into other things. So for streaming, I have on the teleprompter, I have the web presenter output. But for recording, I may route my Apple TV up there so I can show, so I can load a teleprompter. So I can use it for the script. Load a script into that, and then read off the camera instead of what I want to look at here, which is the audio and the streaming status and all that. So that's how I use it in the studio. But again, that studio tour video has way more details. I like the higher end Panasonics over something like the Sony FX3, which is essentially a A7S III in a cinema body. I think the Sony camera is a great camera for filming stuff, but I don't necessarily think it's the optimal camera for in a studio where you're doing everything live. Although the Sonys do have better autofocus, which is something. But yeah. Another question from Roland. Do you regularly update your Pi running Companion? Mine just works and I'm reluctant to touch it. I agree. I wouldn't say I regularly update it, but I have updated it a few times. And now that they have that new release, finally 2.2 or whatever is out, I'll probably update to that soon. But I agree, it's a little bit dangerous to update it too much. Always back it up before you update it. Like go into the where is mine? The Companion. So there's a, where is it? Settings, no. Buttons, import, export. Go and export the full configuration. I should actually just do this more often anyway. Back that up. It just saves it as a file on your computer, and then you can restore it later. It should carry over when you update it in place, but sometimes bad things happen. So backups. Okay. let's see what else we can get to. Again, if you do have a question, make sure you put Q in front. That way it filters it for me and I can not miss it. Eduardo says, I found your channel 3 days ago and I've been binge watching every video about 3 to 4 hours deep. Wow. Love everything you make. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's awesome. I'm glad you are enjoying the content. And thanks for joining live. Glad you can make it. Ooh, Chris says, any recommendations on PTZ cameras for the ATEM or the YoloBox? I haven't personally played with any myself, so I don't have any personal recommendations. I will say David Joshua Ford has that Canon one. I think it's like the, what is it, the N300? Yeah, that's the one. This one. It's been up on a tab on my computer because I'm like, should I get this because it looks so cool? Very, very expensive, but it looks very nice. And it does NDI also, which is useful for some people. And I was impressed by his use of this camera and in a way that I am not normally impressed by PTZ cameras. So that is all. That's my only opinion about PTZ cameras right now. Hopefully at NAB, I'll get to check out a few more of them in person though. So, yeah. Roland says, if there is enough hours in your week, you can make some studio funding, extra cash as a streaming consultant as a sideline. If day job wouldn't object, they wouldn't object. I definitely could. It is more about, do I have the time? Because I want to make sure getting videos out on the channel is the priority for the time I spend on the channel. And I don't want to do more things that take away from that because I only have so much time I can allocate to these different things. But yeah, I could do that. All right. What, oh my gosh. The time is just running right along. Oh, I saw a funny question here. Can you ask the ATEM stand what the plans are for the stinger button? I will bug them about the stinger button while I'm at their booth, just to see what they say, because I am also curious what their plans are for that. It's been a while and nothing has happened with it. Am I doing any collabs at NAB? I know Jeffrey Powers and some others are going to be on site for broadcasts too. I don't have any current plans, but probably. At the very least, I'm gonna hang out with Photo Joseph a bit, although he has a amazingly packed schedule of actually doing talks at the event. But I'm sure I'll run into him there. We'll probably do something together at some point. Other than that, I would love to know if you're going to be there, and anybody watching this, let me know because we'll definitely meet up and be a lot of fun. Jason says, I got an Ultra Studio Recorder 3G, but having issues with my Mac to see it. I use a Thunderbolt cable, allow all security, and it works with the Blackmagic Record app, and none of the other apps see it. Well, I don't know what you mean by none of the other apps. It doesn't show up like a webcam. So that's maybe the confusion. It's not like a regular UVC capture card. It is only usable by apps that understand that device. So OBS has special support for the capture card. Other video streaming apps do have special support for that, but it's not going to show up in Zoom and it's not going to show up in your browser. So that could be what's going on. Otherwise, yeah, just make sure you're using a Thunderbolt 3 cable. Make sure it's not too long because Thunderbolt 3 is very strict about cable lengths. But if one app can see it, then the other apps that should be able to see it should show up there. Michael says, if you want to play music during an event, do you play through the computer and pull it through as a source? I try to avoid playing music from a computer because I feel like all the music playing apps have gotten way worse compared to like the Winamp days, which is really ironic. But what I'll usually do is if I don't care about the timing of the music, if it's just like, I just need some music that I need to be able to bring in and out of the event, I'll put it on an iPod, like an iPod Touch. If I had an iPod Shuffle, I would probably use that too. But just like on an iPod, and it just sits there playing music, and if I don't care about the timing of it, then I can just, always, I know that I can turn up that fader and bring the music in. If I care about the timing of the music, then I'll use something that's better at that. Like lately, I've been using this iPad app called Live App, and been mostly using it right now for videos, so video queuing. But I may, for example, put in a song, like a countdown timer, in a video track with music, so that I can cue the music, get the timing exactly right. This app is this is what I use for doing the video clips during Lily's stream. So there's like the little donut animation, and then the audio and video come out either over AirPlay or over HDMI when I plug it in. And they don't have like a actual audio only tab, but you can make I very often make video clips with music in them as like countdown timers. Speaking of, I have a USB-C HDMI power Ethernet adapter for the iPad Mini, and use the wired Ethernet connection for its comms when using it for video stuff. Yeah, totally. So that's the best way to get get a network connection wired into your iPad so that it's stable. Otherwise, you do risk Wi-Fi issues messing things up. Noelle says, what happened to the video that you were going to make of the videos that we sent you to send over 25K subscribers? I know, I still haven't made that video. I'm waiting for at least one other person who I know was going to send me something, and then I do want to edit it together. I wonder if I can get it out before NAB, because that would be nice, I feel like, to do that before NAB. So yeah, this is for when I hit 25K, which was earlier this year. I think it was right after the new year. I still want to do this. I still am going to do this. The idea is I want to put together a little video that celebrates hitting 25K, but in order to do that, I want to actually feature all of you in that video. So if you're watching this right now, it's not too late because I haven't made the video yet. Do I have a link to it in this video? If not, I'll make sure I add it to the description later after the show. But there's like a little Google form you can upload, record a little video about yourself, what your channel's about, what have you learned from this channel, why do you like doing live streaming and things like that. And I want to feature all of you who are watching this every week. So it is not too late to join that, and I will make sure that is linked below after the stream is done. So yeah, that's what that video is going to be. And I've got several submissions already, so but I want a few more. So yeah. Do you do anything to try and improve the USB color output when using Mini as a webcam, or do you work around a different way? Maybe using HDMI onto a different HDMI input device? No, I don't mind the way it looks. Mostly what I'm using the USB webcam feature of the ATEM for is when I'm doing workshops and stuff in Zoom or in a web browser that uses the webcam. So like On24 or whatever event platform we're using. And it doesn't really bother me that the colors are like more contrasty because the mid-range of the colors doesn't really change. So my face is in the mid-range of the brightness, so it doesn't really change that much. But like, the corners here and over here would get way darker, but that's okay because there's nothing there to look at anyway. So I don't really care. I guess. It doesn't bother me because the picture looks fine anyway, even if it looks a little bit more contrasty. It does mess it up if I am sharing a computer screen into the ATEM that way, because then the bright whites, you don't get the differences in the bright whites or the dark blacks. But I mostly don't do that when I'm using the ATEM as a webcam because I'm usually sharing my screen directly into Zoom or into the web conferencing platform anyway. So again, it ends up not mattering. That's my workaround, I guess. Can you trigger the live app from Companion? I don't believe so, no. It connects to the ATEM using one of the 5 connections available, and then it knows what input it's in, and then the way it works is like for video queuing, you load up the playlist you want to play, and then when you switch your ATEM to, like, let's say it's connected to input 4, it recognizes that it's on the air and it'll start playing. So you don't need to control it from Companion because it knows, like, oh, I'm on the air, time to start playing. And it ends up working fine for that. Yeah. Great questions today. Morris says, is there a way to bring an HDMI source into the YoloBox Pro USB webcam input converters adapters? Kind of. So as far as I can tell, and this may change later, but as far as I can tell, the USB webcam input on the YoloBoxes don't support 1080 webcams, only 720 and below. So most webcams, like USB webcams, are fine because they will output 720 unless, like, they know it can support 1080. So they mostly just work. But some of the capture cards are going to be only 1080, and then those don't work. So I can't remember now. I feel like at one point I found a capture card that worked with the YoloBox, but now I don't remember which one it was at all. I have no recollection. It was a while ago that I tried that. It's like when I first got the YoloBox. But again, that may change in the future. They may be able to make it support 1080 webcams. I hope they do, because there's a bunch of 1080 webcams I would like to be able to use with it. Chris says, have you tried using different lav mics with the Rode or DJI Mic? Are there reports of wireless interference with the Rode lav mics? I definitely have connected other lav mics to the Rode Wireless Go. I have not yet on the DJI. I just got this yesterday. We should talk about this before we run through this whole time of the stream. And I've never had any interference at all. So, but I guess it's possible because it could act as an antenna with that extra cable connected. But I haven't had any problems with it. I've definitely connected. Oops, they're not in here. Where are they? The Rode, or my little flexible one. And yeah, I think I actually have a lav mic in here that and I don't even know what this is anymore. I need to do a better job at remembering what these are, because this came from somewhere. I don't think I bought this itself. I think it came from another kit. I don't remember what it is. This is the one I normally use with it though. And I have not had any trouble. The Magewell capture cards can be set to a certain frame rate and resolution with their app. That is a great tip. That means you could set that to 720 and then use that with the YoloBox. So that is a great tip. Thanks for that. Oh, and another tip. Playout B, you can play music and control from Companion. Excellent point. Excellent point. MCO Group says, since you're in a good communication with YOLO Live, do you know if they will implement some kind of color control on the YoloBox Pro in their firmware update? I haven't heard any mumblings about that yet, but again, they do listen to feedback a lot. So if you have a particular request in mind, then yeah, let me know in the comments here after the stream is done, and we will make sure to pass that along, because yeah, they do listen to feedback from people and add features that they think would be helpful. Okay, so I wanted to talk about this new microphone I got, which now we're already like an hour into the stream and I haven't even mentioned it yet, but DJI microphone. In fact, we're going to do this. Okay, the DJI microphone. This is not sponsored. I bought this because I was curious about the new microphone. This is, they just launched it. I think they gave it to all the like creators doing the reviews of it a few months ago. So I've known about it for a while, but it just popped up on their website for sale. I did link to it on the B&H website, which still says it's coming soon. So I guess they don't have stock, but the DJI website also has it available for purchase. Why am I curious about this? Well, I'm always a big fan of small gear, and I was not prepared for exactly how small this is. I want to show you a comparison here because it blew me away when I opened the box. It is a two channel, stereo wireless mic kit, like the Rode and the Hollyland. But look how small it is. So this is the Hollyland Lark 150. This one they did send to me to review. Talked about it quite a bit in other streams. Hollyland Lark 150. I hope it's charged. Yes. Okay. And this is the Rode Wireless Go 2, which this is a third-party case for the Rode, which I did do a video about also. And normally the Rode comes in their little like sleeve thing that is, I don't mind it, and it's nice that it's like, it doesn't add a lot of bulk, but if you want a charging case for it, you can buy the charging case separately from a different company. And then it works like the Hollyland where it's got a battery in it and all the little modules connect. But check out the size of these three things. It's so small. It is hard to describe how small this is. And so okay, what is in this box? It's the same idea as these two, right? Where it actually looks more like the Hollyland. The Hollyland has a receiver that looks very different from the mic capsules, and then the three Rode ones look the same. One of them just is the receiver. This one does similar things. So it's got the little receiver module, which is focus. There we go. So this little bit, and then here's the little microphone bit. And again, just to give you like a size comparison, here's the DJI mic compared to the Rode. So small. So small. I love it. And then not USB, it's got the little charging pads for the case, although it does have a USB on the side, which I don't know what it's for yet. So that's the microphone. And then they did something really cool on the receiver. So notice how there's no like clips or anything, right? So how do you connect it to a camera? Well, this is where they were like, well, we wanted this mic to do everything. So it comes with, in the case for storage, the little bit that looks like the thing that you have on the Osmo Pocket, which is a Lightning version and a USB-C version, so that you can connect this to your phone. And what you do is you slide it in there. And now the receiver has a little lightning thing. And now you can take it onto your phone and plug it in on the bottom of the phone. And now it's a little wireless receiver for your phone. Or you can use the USB-C to go into the iPad or whatever. But of course, it's also got the output, the line output or mic output for your camera. So it comes with a little cable. And where's the cold shoe mount? Well, also in the case is this little piece. And this little piece is the cold shoe mount, which look how clever this is. It folds out and then it slides on. And now it's a cold shoe. And now you can attach it to stuff like your camera. I think that's very clever. And one of the really nice things is it actually fits in the case without taking that off. So you can still put it back in the case, have it ready to go. Or if you are using it with the Lightning or USB-C and that's connected, you can still put it in the case. It fits with the little thing on there. So very nice compact case design. I'm very impressed. The only downside is that the cord does not fit into the case. So the one thing that's missing, and there's no room to shove it in there over it. Yeah, I'm very impressed with that. I think they did a good job with that. I will probably end up using it mostly with the cold shoe mount. So it's a little bit fiddly because it's a really strong spring. A little bit fiddly to get in there, but then you can just leave it on because it goes in the case with that on there. I'll probably use it mostly with this. I got this little mount. Ooh, it's actually not great for that. Doesn't grip it very well. It's too bad. Hopefully the one I'm 3D printing upstairs fits better. But this is to like turn it into a little interview mic. Oh, that's the microphone I want to clip on here anyway, not the receiver. That one fits better. And you get a little interview mic. I'm bringing this to NAB for interviewing people at the booths. Anyway, yeah, the receiver goes onto the camera, obviously. Oh yeah, one of the other things about this receiver, the screen is a touch screen. Also something I didn't expect. So all the options you configure directly from the screen instead of like from an app or whatever. So that's nice. I like that. Settings, vibration notification, also a very cool thing. So you know how this is another big difference between the two. So the Hollyland does not do any recording at all, and it's not a USB interface. The Rode, the receiver is a USB interface, so you can plug it into a computer, and the microphones also have built-in memory, so they do record. However, the Rode can only be configured to either record always or record never. And basically, as soon as it's connected to the receiver, it will just record to its internal memory, and it just goes on a loop, overwriting old data eventually. Which is great for a backup track of your recording, but it means you have a lot of audio to sift through later. So the DJI, on the other hand, they did something really cool, which is there's actually a button to turn on recording. So if you press the record button, I don't know if you could hear that, but it buzzed. It actually vibrated to confirm. And now the little red light is on. And now I can see it's recording and I can stop it recording as well. And it buzzes twice to say that it's stopping recording. So this is, yeah, I like that design decision as well. That's very cool. Also on the mic, there's a cold shoe, which is very grippy, and a magnet. So I can actually, you can see it just grabs that. It's very strong. So I can use that to, for example, clip it onto my sweater here, and then put the magnet back there and let this just sort of float. And now it's just floating on my sweater here with a magnet, and it's pretty strong. So I'm not really worried about that going anywhere. Let's take a look at the sound, because yeah, how does it sound? That is an excellent question. And I have not actually, literally got this yesterday afternoon. It showed up in the mail and I was like, this is very cool. And I have not actually listened to it yet. I've just been powering it up and trying it out. So I'm going to plug it into this camera. Speaking of which, you know what would be a really nice feature for these little wireless HDMI things to do is give me another cold shoe on top, because I've used my cold shoe for the on the camera for the HDMI, and I would love to be able to like put this on top, but I can't because there's no more cold shoes left. So I don't know why they can't just add more cold shoes onto these things. Okay, replace the battery. This is the one downside of the ZV-1 is you have to take off the tripod mount to get to the battery plate. Silly. And then, oh yeah, this audio cable. This is also really something. I'm not sure if I like this yet. We'll find out once I use it more. Focus. The audio cable is like stiff. You can like get it into a position and it stays there. So I've never seen that before. Interesting. We'll see if I end up liking that. I'm not sure I'm sold on that just yet. So let's go ahead and connect to this somewhere onto this rig. And the... Oh, I got a little ding on my camera. Maybe it's because I bought it used. Well, I haven't seen it before. Where am I going to put this receiver? I guess I'm going to put it on the HDMI cable. Oh, Eddie says, I would rather have the magnet outside and the mic hidden inside. I wonder how that would sound. We can try that too. Yeah, it probably does make more sense. So next is a cover for it to look like a Star Trek comms badge. Oh, if I flip it over, then there's a magnet and I could stick a Star Trek comm badge to the magnet on the outside. Yes. Maybe not a good idea to put a wireless mic on a cold shoe between two wireless video antennas. Probably not actually between the two is the right spot for it, but off to the side or something would probably be fine. But for now, it's gonna live on the back there. Okay. I can see that the little audio meter is going, and it's got my mic that I'm wearing. In a second, I'll flip it around so you can listen to what it sounds like on the inside of my sweater also. Okay, so let's switch over to that audio. Audio, I should probably do this with headphones so I can actually hear it. And let's also make sure that there's no audio processing on that channel. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna hear the audio directly from the mic into the ATEM, or into the camera, into the ATEM, no processing. So, okay, here we go. So, oh, it's on just one channel. Let's fix that. I think it's because it's in dual mode. Oh, that's a sound. Stereo. There we go. Now it's in mono mode. SmallRig has a 1 to 3 adapter for cold shoes. I could do that. We'll see. So, okay, this is what the mic sounds like. This is now this. Oh, it looks like it's too loud. Is there a volume setting? It looks. Is my ATEM too loud? My ATEM is at 0, so we could turn it down. Let's say -3. And that looks a little better on this end. Cool. Yeah, it's probably just the room reverb a little bit too. I heard you might get interference from computers. That's interesting. Well, we'll see what happens. Let me know what the audio sounds like so far. Oh, you ordered one last week from the website, estimated deliveries end of May. Yeah, it said that to me too. And I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to have to wait until May to get this, and then it showed up yesterday. So I think you very well may get it sooner than they think. Big hiss, don't know if it's picking up your fans from your gear. Possibly. There's a little bit of room noise. I do have some audio processing on my overhead mic that is not running into this one now. So I could switch. I could turn on the expander and compressor. Oh, that's probably too much. Let's go like this is what I usually have it set to. And no, that's not quite right. Let's do sort of like that. This is what I normally have it set to when I do have processing turned on. It does sound more hollow to me than the other microphone, so that's something. Let me turn these off though. But yeah, there is a little bit of noise in the room. Ordered B&H, been waiting since March. Ooh. Well, order from the DJI website and then cancel your B&H order because you might get it faster. Okay. That is... Oh, it seems like there's a delay on the audio relative to the video. Is that just on my end? It's not synced with this camera. So this camera has HDMI delay coming out of it, and this audio is synced up to this camera. So let's actually go look at this camera so that we can get a better sense of the audio sync. So this should be in sync because this mic is plugged into this camera that I'm holding up now, and that is, yeah, that's the deal there. Sounds lacking in the highs. Yeah, I noticed that on the headphones I was listening to for sure. Compressor helps. I don't know if I like it as much as the Rode. Yeah, maybe we should compare it now to the Rode as well. Because I like everything about this physically. They did such a good job with the physical design of it. I wonder if they would how they would fare going head to head. Let's find out. Okay, what are we going to do? I'm going to put this down and switch back to the overhead microphone. So back to the overhead mic. Let's redo this to get the Rode connected into that camera and turn that on. And then we can try the Hollyland also. Okay, so he's turning on, that's connected. Let's move this over. And now, let's just stay with we're gonna still have the audio sync issue. So I'm gonna stay on this camera, but we'll now hear the Rode audio. So, okay, now we're on the Rode audio. So how does this sound compared to the other one? Oh, it's very, very loud, very loud. Let's fix that. Let's drop the gain on the Rode, actually. Check, check, check. Okay. Back to the Rode. Is that a little bit less pumping? There we go. It could be the camera gain is up too high too. So let me take a look at that. This camera is set to level 20, which is probably on the high end. Let's drop that down to like 9, 10. There we go. Okay, that's probably better on the camera. Yeah, so this is the Rode. And again, it's not in sync because I'm not synced up to that camera at all. That camera has quite a delay on the G7. This is closer to the source, not an equal comparison. Okay, let's try this again. Let's put this one right next to it. Okay. I'm going to unplug this. And now this is now the DJI mic. So side by side, this is the DJI. A few seconds ago was the Rode. Hopefully now we get a good sense. Let me know. I'm not listening to it on the headphones. Let me know which one you think sounds better. And then the Hollyland I'm also curious about. So let's set that one up. And I'm running out of space on my collar. And we will, yep, okay. And this one's a little bit quiet now. Let's boost that. And this is the Hollyland. So the Hollyland, there's no delay whatsoever from either cameras. Oh, okay, so that must mean that what's happening is the wireless HDMI delay from this matches the HDMI delay of the G7, which is the one you're looking at over here right now. That's probably what is going on there. Looks like an important press conference. So many microphones, right? You might be onto a new fashion statement, multiple mics around the collar. I love it. Roland says, Rode audio quality is better than the DJI at first blush. I'm curious about how this compares to the Hollyland now, though, so let me know. DJI has its own volume for the receiver and transmitter separately. Yes, that is true. Interesting point. The physical controls of the Hollyland are nice. It's true. This gives you the little knobs to turn for the gain, which is nice. But yes, Hollyland audio is a close second to the Rode. Okay, good. Probably too much to do live, but next time you could try sending the receivers into your mixer so you can quickly switch and we get to see you play with the mixer settings. Yes, that is too much to do live. I don't know. I don't have enough 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch adapters handy right now. Hollyland sounds rather harsh. Interesting. Okay, so let's switch back to the DJI now. 1 second while I unplug. And back to the DJI. Okay. I don't know what the menu is trying to tell me to do right now. There we go. Any of these have a mute-unmute button from the transmitter? Yes. So, no. There's an on-off button on the transmitter. So if this one's off right now. Only one of them is connected. There is a record button and a link button on that side, and there is a power button on that side. So if I tap the power button, what happens? Where is it? Too many mics. Nothing happens if I tap it. So if I hold it down, it turns off. No mute button there. Is there a mute button on the Rode? If I remember correctly, the Rode, if you tap it, does it do anything? Nope. And on the Hollyland, there is a mute button on the Hollyland on the side. So that one will, yeah, then the light changes to let you know it's muted. So there's unmuted and muted on this one. So yes, only the Hollyland has a mute button. Interesting. Try double tapping the transmitter on the DJI. Interesting theory. Let's turn this on. Although now we're going to get double audio. Now both are connected. Double tapping the transmitter. Ah, good call. Okay, that did it. So now this is muted. Although, interestingly, it's just showing me the red light again. So on the receiver, it's showing me on the receiver that it is muted. So if I double tap the power button, unmutes, and now you can see it there. So unfortunately, that is almost the same. It looks the same as recording. So on the transmitter, it's recording and the red light is on. But if I double tap to mute, then it's still recording, and now it's muted, but it looks the same as when it's muted because the red light's just on. off. Oh, okay, no. You probably can't see it on the video, which is what I was looking at. It's pulsing to tell me that it's muted. That's what's going on. Oh, yes. And this is a great point. Mary says, the Rode transmitter, the button is programmable. I forgot about that. There is an app on the computer to set it up, and it does let you change the function of that button. They all sound harsh and overdriven in the mids, especially compared to the overhead pencils. So let's switch back to the overheads. And where's my audio tab? So this is the overhead microphone. But I do have some processing going on here. So I have, what do I have? It's in the ATEM. I have some EQ going on, and it looks like this. So let's turn this off. This is the audio from the overhead microphone with no processing. Now, I should probably just leave that off, actually, because I don't want the EQ adjusted for all of the audio I'm sending through the mixer. We're going to keep it like that. There is a small noise when you mute and unmute. That's interesting. I wonder what that is. I wonder if it's the... Yeah, I wonder if that's intentional or not. Let me turn this one off. There is a vibration motor. I like the feedback. Oh, it could be the vibration getting picked up. That could be. Yep. DJI is okay, can possibly be sweetened via EQ. I'm still happy with the first gen Rode, otherwise buy the newer Rode or the Hollyland. Cool. I'm gonna have to listen back to this. I'm curious to hear it. I'm also gonna do an actual video about this because I think it's worth talking about in a more condensed format. And then I'll have some more side-by-side comparisons of the three, because yeah, super cool. Great. Am I still on the overhead? Yeah, okay. Where was I? Can you buy the parts separately? I feel like I would lose all the small parts. I don't know. I haven't looked yet what the replacement parts are like, but I do appreciate that most of the parts fit into the case. So as long as you don't forget to attach the magnet back to the transmitters. But yeah, these little things have a home in the case, which is nice. Only the audio cable does not, which none of them do. I picked the DJI for the features. I know, they packed a lot into that. So I think they did a good job with the features of that. Hopefully that means the other companies will start playing catch up. What's your overhead mic? I actually showed it a little bit earlier in the stream, so I'll link. I'll put timestamps in this later if you're watching the replay. But it is the Samson C02. Will the DJI Mic act as an external audio device so you can get sound out of the headphone jack, or is it just monitoring audio? Oh, good question. I believe it does, actually, because I remember when I connected it to my phone was like, oh, you want to play audio through the external audio device, and I couldn't hear it on the speaker anymore. But I will double check that when I do the actual video. What tools did you use to make the Sting intro to the DJI? It looked great. Thanks. I am not good at motion graphics, so that is a pretty much stock graphic from Apple Motion. So I got Apple Motion years ago, and it is a it has a bunch of like templates in it, template starter projects, I guess. And I use that and then customize the text and I tweaked a few other things in it, and then export it from Apple Motion as ProRes with an alpha channel and loaded that into the HyperDeck. So the HyperDeck plays it over the stream. So just like the Stinger I use at the intro, it's the last thing in the chain before the web presenter. So it's able to put it on top of whatever I've got on my screen. Competition are always a good thing for consumers. I agree. I agree. What's the difference in price between the three of them? I think they're all very close, within like $30 of each other or something. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they are all pretty close in price range. The pockets use the same connector for Lightning and USB-C, so they can be purchased separately. Oh, I didn't realize it was literally the same connector. That is good. Yeah, the DJI Pocket is super cool too, and I was like, this looks like the connector from the DJI Pocket, but apparently it's actually exactly the same. So that is a cool tip. Thanks for that. I will make sure to mention that in the video I do later. So yeah, if you buy these, if you lose one for your Pocket, or if you have extras from your DJI Pocket, same connector. That is cool. I wonder when we'll see XLR plugs on the transmitters. Interesting. I feel like that's a different market, so I don't know, because these are all very much aimed at, like, on-the-go creators, not the professional wireless packs that you get in the next tier up. Oh, here's a good question. I bought the PK1 Pro for my ATEM Mini Pro. What accessories like to mount the small monitor and mic and drive holders? Can you chat the links? Yes, I can. So let me see. I think I have this on the website too. So let's take a look at the website. On the website, which is just pk1.tv, which is already linked below, I have a page for the ATEM Mini, which has the 2 different ATEM Mini stands. Here's the Mark II. And on this page, I have links to everything. So first, let me drop that link in the chat. And then here is the monitor mount. So this is the SmallRig 1842. This attaches into the screw holes that are on the cheese bar. So the screws that come in with the monitor mount are the right screws already for that. And those screw directly into that cheese bar. If you have the new stand, the one with aluminum bars, the SmallRig screws that it comes with don't fit into the channel. So you need separate screws, and we are including those separate screws in the box because I'm assuming this is a common use case. So you will have to replace those screws from the SmallRig, get rid of those, use the other screws to get it into the aluminum channel. So those are those two. And then the SmallRig or the SSD holder. So there's a couple different ways to do that one. Basically, if you get, where is it? I thought I had it linked on here. Yeah, so SmallRig sells an SSD holder. And that is here. And the way that one works is, yeah, I bought this a while ago. So it has a cold shoe thing on it, which means you can then attach it to any of the cold shoe mounting points on the stands, either stand. So I don't have the other one in front of me here, but for this one, you could put it on the back here, which, then your hard drive would be right next to the USB cable port that you need to plug it into. So attach that here, and there's a cold shoe in the same spot on the other stand as well. So that works. And then we actually also have a 3D printed SSD holder that works also. The 3D printed one is a little bit slimmer. I'm trying to find that one. That link I may have lost from the website. That is my bad. Yep. Okay, I lost that link somehow. So I'll put that back on the website, but you should be able to find it on the NX3D shop anyway. So the difference in the two is the 3D printed one is made specifically for the T5 and T7 drives, whereas the SmallRig one can sort of adapt to a bunch of different shapes. So if you have those particular drives, then you can use the ones that we make, and then it's just a little bit less clutter. So here's one I was looking for. I'll drop this link in the chat. This is the PK1 SSD. Oh, I see they're in the chat right now. I think it's not letting you drop links. You know what we can do is make you a moderator, and then you can drop links. Okay, you are now a moderator of the channel. Please help me fight the spam. But now you can drop links. Thankfully, the spam is mostly stopped. I put the channel into subscribers only mode a while ago, which seems to have solved that problem. I don't do that because I'm trying to trick you into subscribing. I do that because the spam tends to be just drive-by spam of people finding live streams and then just dropping, well, I blocked links, but there's a lot of other things people tend to spam, which is just obnoxious, really. So I put it into subscribers only mode for 5 minutes. You have to be subscribed for 5 minutes. So if you are watching live and you subscribe at the beginning of the stream, you'll be able to chat and like by the time the stream starts. So I'm not trying to like block people from chatting, but it does seem to have made the spam stop, which is nice. And now we've got links in the chat. So there we go. Yeah, so that's the one I was showing you. This is the one that's made specifically for this drive, and it attaches to the side of the stand that way. You know, it comes with all the screws you need and stuff. So that little piece is the insert for the smaller drive, because the two drives are, one is thinner than the other. So this is nice because it's just a little bit slimmer, whereas the SmallRig one is like a big chunky thing. But you know, it'll adapt to whatever drive you want, which is, again, kind of nice. So take your pick. Those are the options. Did I get all those? But yeah, I'll make sure to add that back to the website because that's where it's supposed to be. The website for, oh, now I'm on the Extreme. The website for these, I try to make sure that this has all the links to all the accessories here. So we've got the, even like the, you know, the Rode Wireless Go and the Hologram that I've got in the pictures. I make sure to link to those in the website. This is for the Mark II. It's got the extra retaining clips to hold the ATEM in place. Also the little rear foot as a separate piece. And here's the little things, other things in the photos, like the different cheese plates and stuff that you can buy. So try to make sure to link to all those. And I lost the link to our solid state drive holder at some point, apparently. I will fix that. But that's also another one of the reasons we redesigned this a little bit, and this one works differently, where it is fewer parts. So again, kind of along the lines of like less stuff to lose, less stuff to put together. This one comes together much quicker because it's just the 4 screws on the side to hold that together, and it has the clips, little holding, you know, retaining clips built in. They're not separate pieces. Doesn't mean that you can't put the deck saver over it anymore, so that's the trade-off there, which is why we're still selling both of them. But I'm excited about the new design in there anyway too. Cool. Thanks for the question. Mary says, how loud is the web presenter? I'm pretty sure it makes no sound at all. I think they use one of their silent fans in it. So there's a couple of pieces of gear in the rack over there that do make sound. This is what's running the stream right now. You can see the multi-view of my ATEM up there too, and the web presenter. The ones that make the most sound are the video hub, the SDI Matrix. The original fans are ridiculously loud. I hate it. I replaced them with quieter fans, but they still make noise. And then the other one is the TV Studio HD, which Blackmagic's fans are very noisy in that, and I replaced those fans as well. The old Hyperdeck has very loud fans. I replaced those fans as well, and now that's very quiet. But the video hub is making noise, and the what else? I think that's the main thing that's making noise over there. Yeah, the web presenter is dead quiet. The new hyperdecks are nice and quiet. I don't hear anything out of the ATEM Extreme either. So, yeah, hopefully that helps. Can you talk about how you used your hyperdeck to sting your overlay video? So it's pretty much like you would expect. Let's see, I think I have a diagram on H2R gear still. Let's see if this is readily accessible. Studio with TVS HD, simplified. This might be a little bit out of date because I've changed some things, but let's see how close this actually is. Most of the show is done through the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. So you'll see, let's zoom this in a little bit. Can I zoom in? That is zoomed in. Okay. Most of the show is mixed in the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. That is the multi-view that you see here. You may notice that it is not recording or streaming because it does not actually do the streaming and coding for YouTube. So this outputs to out over HDMI into oh, I forgot. This is actually accurate. I put it in a bidirectional converter to split. I have the HDMI pass-through going into the other ATEM, and then the SDI feeds back into the video hub, so I can actually route output 2 into other things around the studio if I want to. So if I want to look at whatever that HDMI out is on another screen here, I can do that, which is nice. And then I think actually this is actually going into here, but through a converter. Anyway, the main program is on HDMI 2, gets sent into the other ATEM. The other ATEM is the old Television Studio HD, which does not have scalers. Very picky about input formats. The only things in that are the ATEM, and then the 2 channels from the Ultra Studio 4K, which is what's doing the graphics from my Mac, fed out over OBS. The other thing going into the other SDIs is that hyperdeck. That hyperdeck, again, 2 SDIs for the key and fill. If you look at that ATEM in my software control, here's the TV Studio HD. This is the older one, so we got the older audio mixer. I don't have them named. I thought I had them named. That's weird. I must have lost it in a power reset or something. Anyway, this is always set to camera 1, program input. That's this ATEM. So then the 2 downstream keys, there we go. So if we look at the downstream keys, downstream key 1 is camera 5 and 6, which is the Ultra Studio with the pre-multiplied. Key 2 is camera 7 and 8, which is the hyperdeck, also pre-multiplied. And those are always on the air. So I don't turn them on and off. I just, the alpha channel is, transparent most of the time, so we don't see anything, even though those keys are on. And then whatever the hyperdeck is playing shows up in camera 7 and 8, and then gets put out over the stream. The output of the TV Studio HD is the SDI program into the web presenter HD. That other one is a confusing line. There we go. So SDI in to the web presenter is the ATEM TV Studio HD. So this is like the flow, right? We've got most of the inputs are running into the ATEM Extreme ISO in terms of my cameras. It goes HDMI out into the Television Studio HD. That adds the graphics on top, outputs into the web presenter. That's the one encoding to YouTube. And this diagram is missing a few things because the SDI monitor here actually goes into one of the video hub outputs, so I can route it into the teleprompter and things like that. Because it's not just going into that video assist. That's the rough signal flow of the show. And then in terms of actually queuing it, I'll show you my companion config for this. So here's my main page. So this button is one of them. That loads up this video clip on the hyperdeck. Zoom in. Loads up that clip, waits 50 milliseconds, and hits play. Again, this is already on the air because I don't turn those downstream keys off. So it plays that clip. It also posts a chapter marker into the chat. And that's all it is. So it's really just queuing that clip and then playing it. And if we look at the other one for the actual, this one does the same thing, but it's a different video clip. And then I don't remember why it waits 500 milliseconds instead of 50. And then this one's a little more complicated. Okay, so yeah, this featured product video. Let me see if I can actually scrub through it on, do I have the hyperdeck loaded up here? I don't know if I do. I don't think I have it connected, because I usually don't control it from the ATEM. Which one is that? That is the hyperdeck is 222.2. So if I go and that, it's not connected. Let's connect here. What I want to do, there we go, is I just want to be able to show you what happens if I play through that video. So here it comes, right? And then this video is playing, but here's the trick. This part of the video. So I just paused it. This is actually transparent in the video clip. This is one of the changes I made to the Apple version, like the template. This is actually now got a real alpha channel so that I can put other things under it. So what that means is that this template, like, I never have to change this video clip. It sits in the hyperdeck. It's weird that you can't see me. There we go. I can peek through the little letters. So this video clip sits in the hyperdeck. I don't change it ever. It's because it doesn't have any actual product info in it. It's just the shell around it. And then in Companion, what I do here is I will, so I run play, and then I load up a still graphic from the media player and bring that on the air. It also mutes my microphone while it's going, but then I bring that on the air. So, and then it waits the 5.5 seconds for the animation to cover the screen again, and then it switches the camera back to this camera. So if I let this keep playing, you'll see it, there we go. It covers the whole screen and then eventually wipes off the screen, right? So let's see if we can scrub backwards. So it's covering the screen, but if we keep going back, there's that transparent bit again. So that probably sounds horrible. I'm sorry for the sound, because I realize the sound is also playing through that. So that's the trick. So basically what I do is in the ATEM, I load in this DJI mic, bring that onto the air. That way, this is what you see on the stream. You're not seeing the camera anymore, and I can swap out what's under this. So that's the trick. That way I don't have to re-export the video every time. I just have this loaded in the hyperdeck and I can let it play out, and then we're done. So that is the secret. Yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Fun little behind the scenes there. Now I wasn't looking at the chat at all, so let's see what's going on. Oh, great, that's amazing, thank you. Well, cool. Yeah, that the main goal there again was I didn't want to have to re-export the video every time I am using it in a show. I want it just always be there. All I do is I swap out the graphic in the media pool, which is very easy for me to create. I actually made that. I took that picture right before the stream started. Like it was like, 9:15 or something, and I was scrambling to get the camera out, take that picture, edit it on my iPad, export it into the ATEM, and I would not have been able to do that if I had had to also deal with a whole video export process. So. Okay, let me see what else we've got in here about. Oh, what about using Playout Beat as a hybrid deck? Hybrid decks are expensive for me at the moment. Definitely good option for playing videos and stuff. It's a little bit more complicated to get the alpha channel out. I think it's possible, but if you want the alpha channel in the video to be able to do that transparency trick, that's where the hyperdeck is really nice because it's like much more of a solid option. But in terms of playing other videos, then yeah, Playout B is great for that because it's so much cheaper. I can't remember if it does support the alpha channel if you're using it on a Raspberry Pi, because there's 2 HDMIs on the Raspberry Pi. Somebody will correct me in the chat, hopefully. So, I'm looking for other questions about graphics or the studio rig. Can you dig out a link to the quiet fans for the hyperdeck? Yes. Where did I put those? I think let me see if I did a video about that. I thought I did a video about that. Nope. Apparently I just filmed some and then forgot to ever edit it together. I actually did film a lot of the actual, like, me opening up the hyperdeck and the TV Studio HD and all that stuff. Yeah. The brand I use is called Noctua, and let me just at least drop this link in before I find the exact fan. So this is the Noctua fan. Their family of all the fans. So I'm trying to remember which one I actually used because they have a whole bunch of different sizes, but they look like this. I think somebody else did a description of how to do that. So I think it was a video. Oh, it was an iFixit. Okay. Yeah, here is the link on. Yeah, this is a good link. This is a good tutorial. So here is a guide to, this should tell you the exact fans to use. But it goes through like unscrewing the case, taking out the fans. You do have to solder this one because the connectors are weird. So you have to make sure you get the colors to match up, which is not obvious. So thankfully he has a diagram here. And then you put it back in. And yeah, it works great. I did not chop up the case like he suggested here. I left the grill on the case. I didn't want to bang it up that bad, even though it's way out of warranty. I've had the TV Studio HD for ages at this point. And the hyperdeck, which I also painted white. So yeah, I'm not getting any warranty service on that white hyperdeck anymore, I'm sure. Okay. Do you have the Audio Engine A2 Plus speakers on the shelf? Do you think they are worth it to buy in 2022? That is what they are. They're the Bluetooth ones, although I also now have them wired into the MR18. So one of the nice things about that is I can now route the countdown music into those speakers so I can hear it in the room instead of it only coming through the headphones. So I've been enjoying that. And then if I'm just like hanging out here doing a photo shoot or something, I'll Bluetooth music to it from my phone or something. I like them. I think they're nice. They're not like, studio grade monitor quality or whatever, but they're good enough for what I do with it. Gotta go. Thanks for the useful info again. See you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, it's been almost 2 hours. So I don't know why I'm still talking. Christopher says, would the new YoloBox be able to replace the web presenter? That's an interesting question. Like the YoloBox Mini, right? Because it's just one HDMI in, and the web presenter has only one HDMI in. And it's an encoder, and then it also does have a little bit more than the web presenter because you can still add graphics with it. Interesting option. I would say that it wouldn't do what I need it to do here, right? Because like SDI in, for one, I need the SDI in. I would have to go run it through a converter. But even more importantly, it's again the remote control. So there's no remote control option on the YoloBox yet. I want them to add it. So instead, if I were using this in this stream, I would have to have this physically somewhere that I could touch it, which I can't reach the web presenter. It's over, in the rack, and I can't get there. So I control the web presenter over the network, which is my preferred way of doing it. So if they add network control to the YoloBox family, then that would get it a lot closer. Yeah. I would be interested to know if Elgato's foot pedal is supported in Companion. I would also be interested. That sounds very interesting. From Todd, does the DJI transmitter have an 1/8 inch mic in? It does. I believe that's a mic input. It is not labeled. Where is that? Whatever this is, I don't know what this is. At some point, I should buy like a actual expensive lav mic that's good. At some point. But what we can do is do a side-by-side now of, just for good measure, one more thing on the collar. What I can do is do a side-by-side of the built-in mic compared to this lav mic, which again, I'm sorry, I don't know what it is, but I think it came from some other kit. So let's do this really quick. Let's go back to the audio from, okay, yeah, we're looking at the audio from the DJI. So let me get rid of this one and this one. Now I can, what do we learn? Double tap is mute. Yep, it buzzes to confirm. So, okay, now only the lav mic is on. Here we go. This is the lav mic, or the external mic attachment plugged into this transmitter that's on my collar. And then I'm going to mute this one. Unmute the built-in mic. This is the built-in mic on the collar now. So they're in the same spot. Hopefully we get a nice side-by-side comparison of how the two sound. I'm really curious your thoughts about whether the built-in mic sounds better or if the external lav mic sounds better. Both are running through the DJI transmitters, going into the receiver in mono mode. So yeah, let me know. I'm not listening to this in the headphones right now. And back to the table microphone. Let's see any thoughts. Need more gain. It's very quiet. Oh shoot, sorry. I don't know why that changed. Oh, I dropped the camera gain. Yep. That's what happened. I dropped the camera gain between tests because I was testing it with the Hollyland. Lapel is better, I think. Okay. Well, cool. I will have to go back and listen to that myself now too. Yeah, so one other point about these small mics is that one can use them with 3.5mm headset or lapel mics. In that case, they're mini wireless packs. Internal mic is irrelevant. If it does end up being significantly better, then yeah, I'm more interested in that. I'll probably end up using it with the little external mic, especially if I can find a really good version of this that I actually know what the brand is. Are you buying any new Apple products, replacing your Mac Mini to something else? Probably not. I am mildly curious about the new Macs, but I don't think I'm curious enough to buy one. I do have a work laptop. My work laptop is the M1 MacBook Pro, which I've been enjoying, even though it's a little bit larger than I want it to be. So I still like the Air size better. But I don't think I'm going to swap my Studio Mac Mini for the new Mac Studio or whatever, even though it's called Studio. Yeah. If you could rent your studio, estimate the cost per hour. You have many professional equipment. That is a very good point. It's very messy though, so I have to find some solution to that. I don't know. I have no idea what studio rentals cost by the hour. I also feel like there's like almost no way somebody would figure out how everything is wired up just by looking at it. So they would have to also rent me to run it. So that sounds just like a thing I don't want to deal with. You always need some sound processing. Yeah, so like in the, if I were using this if I'm running it into a camera for, just like a really simple live stream, I wouldn't really have the opportunity to do audio processing with the external mic. But if I was going into the ATEM, then you can do a nice EQ in there. There's no EQ in the YoloBox. There's only volume. So, yeah. And if I was doing it for an edited video, then I would, later in the editor do a lot of processing on that. So, cool. It's quieter, but it does sound more neutral. Cool. Yeah. Maybe that's what we've learned today is that unfortunately the built-in mic on the DJI is not as good as the Rode. Thank you, Eduardo, for the super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I don't see a question along with it, but I appreciate the super chats anyway. Ever heard of the PK1 mic? Such a great mic system that doesn't get enough credit or popularity it deserves. You know what? That popped up on my radar at one point, and why did I find it? Yeah, I don't remember. It is very cute. Look at that. Oh yeah, I remember this. The receiver situation is like a whole thing with like a large screen. Really interesting. I've never played with it. It's interesting that the receiver is also where the mic things charge. Not a big fan of that. I do like that especially this DJI one. It is just so small, the receiver, and I like how small that is. So, but yeah, it looks interesting. Definitely looks interesting. Eduardo says, how often do you do this? There's your question. Thanks for the super chat again. We'll be here for all of them. Well, I appreciate it. I do this every Sunday, unless something drastic happens. But I've been able to keep it up. I think I've only missed 1 or 2 Sundays since I started 2 years ago. So yeah, Sundays at this time. I usually don't go this long. I've been trying to keep it to an hour or 90 minutes. But make sure you are subscribed if you want to make sure that you get notified, because YouTube is not reliable about sending notifications. Subscribe to my email newsletter, and that will blast out an email 30 minutes before I go live. So that link is in the chat. There is a link to subscribe. And yeah, it's an automated email that goes out a half hour before I go live. So you'll get it at this time every Sunday. Or if it's Monday for you, because you're in Australia, then you'll get to join, you'll get the notification. If I do unscheduled live streams, which I do every now and then, not very often, but usually during special events, for example, NAB, then you will also get notified about those. So that is a great way to make sure you don't miss it, because YouTube does not actually send out notifications even if you are subscribed and have clicked the bell. They still treat it like a suggestion that you are interested in possibly receiving notifications. Yeah. So I have to go build my own. All right. The other questions, I think we're gonna wrap this up here, because it's like we just hit the 2 hour mark. It's a lot of talking. I need to drink some water. I need to take some photos for of these. I need to do some more product shoots today. So if you are interested in the details of that stand for the ATEM, I do have a last week's stream. I did a full like deep dive on the stands. So take a look at that. And yeah, those are at PK1.tv. So cool. If you are going to be at NAB, let me know because, or like drop a comment on this video later because yeah, I would love to meet up at some point. If you are going to be there, maybe we can do a live stream or a video or interview or something together. I'm really looking forward to it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm gonna meet a lot of the companies I've been working with over the last 2 years for the first time. So that'll be great. And yes, click the like button. Please do click the like button. More people who like the stream, the better. Okay, awesome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the super chats. I appreciate it. We'll be back here same time next week with any luck from this same space. And in a couple weeks, I will see you in Vegas. I'll be streaming from NAB. And that's gonna be an adventure. Who knows? We'll see what happens. I'm gonna go visit the show floor, visit the YoloBox booth, visit the Blackmagic's booth, do some filming, check out what new things they've launched. It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna bring my stands there as well, so I'll be able to show you those if you're curious. All right. Bye everybody. See you next time.